Need a presenter? Your Event Audio has you covered. Closed circuit audio equipment with turnkey operation at your trade show booth, live event, or private event. YourEventAudio.com is the place to go. DJ services, MC talent, and a whole lot more. Check out YourEventAudio.com today.
Craving ideas to ignite your face-to-face marketing program? Join us at Exhibitor Live, the conference and exhibition for trade show and corporate event marketers in Nashville, February the 25th through the 28th. Dive into over 100 electrifying sessions and workshops led by industry rock stars, where you'll learn to skyrocket your ROI, master the art of creating experiences, and forge connections that will take your program and your career to the next level. Secure your spot now and turn your trade show dreams into reality at exhibitorlive.com.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to our February edition of the Association and Advocacy Focused podcast from the Exhibitor Group. I'm Mike Morrison, National Sales Director for WS Display, co-host of our show. As you can see, if you're watching the video, our two normal suspects join me now at this time. Mark Johnson from Las Vegas, who is the owner of the Exhibitor Group, and also the very important Tommy Goodwin, who is the Executive Vice President of ECA, the Exhibition and Conferences Alliance. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's post Super Bowl week here. This is not on the script. It just came to mind. Everybody has a favorite moment from the Super Bowl. I'm sure you both watched it. Mark, what was yours? Your takeaway?
I think the favorite moment was I watched the game and I was rooting for the 49ers. I didn't have a dog in the fight, but I was rooting for the 49ers. I really thought Purdy would be a great story, but you just knew at the end they're going to come back. If you don't have enough points, you guys are done. And here comes Kansas City. And sure enough, they did that. And it was great to see that kind of come back with it and how they changed with it. I love the energy of, getting in your coach's face. My God, when he did that, that was like, what are you talking about? But it was just the passion. And it sent me a lot about leadership. The coach didn't go crazy. He knew it was passionate about what he was trying to do. And they just stayed and worked together. So I think it's a great group. I think it was fun to watch.
Tommy, what was yours?
Well, I think building on that, what is remarkable is if you watched the Chiefs this season, they didn't really have the personnel that they needed on the offensive side of the ball. And yet, to your point about leadership, to your point about perseverance, they found a way to get it done. The last two seasons have allegedly been rebuilding seasons for them. And the part that as a football fan, if I were a fan of any of the other 31 teams, which I am, I was listening to something the other day that said quarterbacks usually peak around age 32, 33, because they've still got the physical skills, but they've got so much experience, the game slows down for them. The Chiefs have a quarterback who is 28, who he has never not made a title game and has won 3 Super Bowls, and that is a scary proposition going forward.
We should probably have this discussion before we open the mics up because Mark stole mine. But I do want to say, capitalizing on what Mark said, that was my biggest takeaway is when he got in the coach's face and he showed that passion, that competitiveness, that anger, which was controlled. Sometimes you got to come out in a method to get your message across. How does this tie to ECA? Well, sometimes you got to go to the hill. And sometimes you got to get in some people's face. Sometimes you've got to tell your story and say to the coach, hey, you need to listen to me and you need to listen to us. We want to win. We want to be relative. And there's no better way of discussing that than Legislative Action Day. There's some kind of segue there between the Super Bowl and Legislative Action Day. Not sure how I got to this point, but I'm going to turn the mic over to Mark and let him talk to Tommy about that and some other key points on advocacy here on the Association Advocacy Focused podcast. Mark, take it away.
All right. So for that segue. All right, Tommy, what are we going to do? Get me in the game. When's the Legislation Day?
I love it. Mark, bringing the Travis Kelce energy early this morning. It is absolutely fantastic. I got to tell you, Legislative Action Day, just to keep the theme going, is very much my Super Bowl. It's ECA Super Bowl. It is the one day a year we get the whole industry together in Washington, D.C., up on Capitol Hill for some full contact advocacy. And happy to announce that we have opened registration for Legislative Action Day. We're going to be doing it this year on Thursday, May 30th. It is the Thursday right after Memorial Day. For those of you listening from the event organizer community, it is going to be the day after the Lippman Connects ECEF event, which always brings a great crowd to Washington, D.C. So we're thrilled to be co-locating again with Sam this year. For those of you who have been there before, you know the drill. We talk about the issues that matter in the morning. We get everybody together. We divide up into our state delegations, and then we go up to Capitol Hill and we turn the mic over to you, right? These folks hear from me all the time, but it's really about hearing from everybody who's part of the Exhibitor Now community and this broader business events industry to tell the story of what we do every day to drive economic growth, to support job creation, and to help all the small businesses who come and exhibit at our shows. And thrilled to be able to bring everybody back this year, Thursday, May 30th. If you haven't had the opportunity to register yet, please stop by ecalegislativeactionday.com and we will get you up and running.
Yeah, Tommy, it's a great event. I know in the years, many years ago, it was, it was good. We still had some traction. We were still doing some stuff, but your organization that has brought the structure to it and, well set up with it. The last year was phenomenal to give me the work or the talking points, the organization to go in and meet with my representatives have been phenomenal. And I know we've got some people out there that go, okay, so what are we really seeing from this? Is this worth it? This is the little short moves. You're not going to win the game as we go back to the football, off the first kick and the game's over. You got to keep playing throughout the whole season. You got to keep working through it and do the drills so you're prepared for it. And we are seeing some of it. We've demonstrated to the industry some of the work that we've done. I would also ask our people to consider who are participating into it, then to stay closer with your representatives, because one of mine, I'm fortunate enough, is Dean Phillips, who actually leads the Small Business Committee for the United States. He has town hall meetings constantly back in his state, and there's a small group, and you can get right up to Dean and you can further the message, remind them what's going on, and they're very receptive to it. They want to hear what's going on with it. We're talking a lot on that day to their staff, and their staff is also feeding data with it. So I think it all plays into it. And I think we've done a great job making the Hill and Capitol and DC, all of that together, aware of this industry that's been a secret way too long.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? We are, for years, we have been the biggest industry that nobody knew about. And that this is one way that we can bring people together every day to tell a much different story. And it's why it's so heartening that so many folks took part last year. I will tell you, we've had registration open for a couple of weeks already. We're already at 50% of last year's registration total. So we are looking to make this the biggest day for the industry on the Hill ever. So for those of you who have been part of it, who are part of Exhibitions Day back in the day, please highly encourage you, welcome you to come back. We'd love to have you. So many folks who were with us last year have already come back. But also, if you haven't done this before, I will tell you, and I will defer to Mike and Mark because they can tell their story, but we really do everything we can to try to get you ready for those conversations. We divide you up into state teams. You're not going by yourself. We'll get you the talking points. We'll get you the information you need. We'll do webinars ahead of time on what best practices for meetings look like. We will do everything we can to make you as comfortable as possible to come up and join us on Capitol Hill for the first time. And we really want folks, encourage folks from coast to coast, border to border. Right. We're always going to have a good group from Nevada and we love to see them there. We're always going to have a good group from Texas. We love to see them there. But in particular for the states that maybe aren't necessarily top of mind to folks who don't know the industry, as well as everybody listening to this podcast do. We want, Mark, you're from Minnesota. We want the Minnesota folks. Mike, you're from Georgia. We want the Georgia folks. We want folks from all 50 states to come and join us. So if you haven't done it before, if you've been on the fence, if you've heard a little bit about what we're doing here and maybe say, I don't know if that's for me or not, I encourage you, ecalegislativeactionday.com, sign up. We will absolutely take care of you. And we'll make sure you have a great day, but we'll also make sure that your voice is heard. And that's really what this day is all about.
Yeah, Tommy, you truly make it easy. Your organization, the structure, the talking points, last year I hadn't been there for a few years and I was getting a little nervous too with it, but it was just a breeze for how you structured it and made it, like I said, just seamless for me to be able to go through the day and work through it. And in Minnesota, yeah, come on, guys, I got to get more of my team out there from there. I was the only Minnesota person last time. Hopefully that's not the case here. Your point is well heard. There's a lot of, obviously, we know the states where there's heavy Nevada and that with the trade show world, but every state has an issue in this. So if you're in Arizona, please consider to come and attend to it. We need every state representative with it. So
Yeah.
take a shot at coming with it. Hey, is there any sponsorship opportunities, Tony or Tommy?
Well, like any good industry association event like Exhibitor Live coming up this month, we could not do this without our partners and so many of the organizations who work with us, Custom Reg helping us with registration, Lippman Connects, who we're proud to co-locate with, but also couldn't do it without wonderful folks like the Exhibitor Group, who is one of our partners and one of our longtime supporters of the industry's advocacy work, not only through this podcast, but also being part of Legislative Action Day as both participants and sponsors. So I want to use this opportunity, Mark, to thank you for the leadership, to thank you and David for being part of this, and encourage others who are part of the advocacy mission of the organization who want to be part of Legislative Action Day. Delighted to chat with anybody on both the attendee and the partner side. So thanks to you all. Thanks to everybody who's listening, who I know will make this a great event. And like I said, my goal, I want it to be the biggest industry presence on Capitol Hill ever. And so that's what we're shooting for. And couldn't do it, Mark, without the exhibitor group. So thank you, sir.
No, we appreciate it. And that's been one of our commitments, is to make sure that we are inclusive and supporting the other associations. And it is, you can easily sit in your desk wherever you're working in what part of the country and do your job and serve your clients and your employees well. But this is a time when you need to step out. And I would ask everybody to really consider doing something that's a little bit bigger than yourself that helps the industry. And one, make sure you attend, come and participate. But two, if you have the opportunity, this is a great program. Sponsor it. It doesn't take a lot of money to run what you're doing, but it does take some. And all of it goes to the program and really helps the organization and all of us succeed. So again, you're doing a great job, Tommy. We really appreciate everything you're doing, and we're so proud to be a part of it and sponsor you. And we look forward to the day.
We're thrilled to have you, and everybody who's out there listening, again, ECALegislativeActionDay.com. Sign up, free, no registration fees or anything. Happy to have you all on board and see everybody from coast to coast in Washington, D.C. right after Memorial Day.
Great. So, Tommy, give us a little update with what's going on. I know we've got some visa programs that you got an update on. What's happening with our visas?
Yeah, so you talk about Legislative Action Day and what happens in the days after. Visa issues were front and center last year for us. We were asking for legislation to be introduced. We were asking for funding. Well, we've had 2 visa bills already introduced, and we got a third one last week. It's from Representative Dina Titus in Nevada and Maria Salazar from Florida. So 2 obviously hotbeds of the business events industry. But it's called the Visitor Act. It would give our friends at the State Department more flexibility that when they take money in from visa application fees, they could turn around and reinvest that much more quickly, whether that's making technology upgrades at embassies and consulates, whether that's building out more infrastructure at high volume sites, or more importantly, hiring more personnel to adjudicate these visa applications. It offers the State Department some more flexibility, also put some accountability in there. There's a provision in there that says 80% of all visa applicants, including business visa applicants, need to be interviewed within 3 weeks of their application being received. So there's some carrot, there's some stick. I'll tell you a little bit kind of behind the curtain. This one has been percolating for several months. The State Department has been involved. The House of Representatives Foreign Affairs Committee has been involved. This is a pretty carefully negotiated bill, which is good news in that if it finds a vehicle to ride, this is kind of one of those things that could uncontroversially make its way into law by the end of the year. So we'll be talking about this one on Legislative Action Day, but just another example of where the industry's focus on bringing back our international attendees and exhibitors continues to pay dividends. I think we're down to about 16 countries around the world where you can't get a visa interview within 120 days. We're still looking to chip away at that. We're still looking to get some more resources on that. But if you look at where we were on Legislative Action Day last year in terms of bringing our international attendees and exhibitors back and where we are today, we're in a much, much, much better place, and that's largely due to the advocacy efforts that ECA's Legislative Action Day plays such a big part of.
Tommy, this is a little bit off topic, but maybe you've got an answer for it. How is it on the reverse side? Because now I'm looking at going to IFAS and OSPI and some of these other meetings, and now I need a visa for the first time in a long time.
Well, what we're seeing is around the world, there are still some post-pandemic delays in places, but a lot of countries are really trying to roll out the red carpet here. So the U.S., we have visa reciprocity agreements with 41 countries worldwide where you can go in for less than 90 days and not need a visa. All the European Union countries, the UK, Japan, and others that are part of that program. But we also see countries like China who are dropping visa requirements in certain areas. So they rolled out something a couple months ago where I think it was folks in 6 countries. They were testing a new program where for 15 days you could come into China without a visa. We've also seen Canada continuing to make strides. I think it's 67 countries now in Canada. You can come in and get expedited service for a trade show or conference visa. So around the world, people are taking notice. And I think we've talked about this before, but getting these visa numbers down, it's a competitiveness issue for the United States because a lot of these destinations around the world are coming and talking to the organizers, whether that's the associations or others, saying, hey, if you're having trouble bringing your international community back together here in the U.S., we've got some alternatives for you. And so this is one of those cases where, hopefully the rising tide lifts all boats, but we need to get these visa numbers down in the U.S. to stay competitive and make sure that, we're still the premier destination for business events because others are certainly rolling out the red carpet too.
Great. Well, and then in just a summary, is there any other big topics that we should be talking about this month? It is Valentine's Day too. We're talking Super Bowl, but is there anything you love to talk about, you guys?
Stuff I love to talk about. We got a victory earlier this week down in the state of Florida. There was a piece of legislation called the Right to Rock Act. And the idea was that if a singer or performer or comedian or whomever was booked in any venue that receives public support, so basically that's every convention center in the state of Florida, you couldn't cancel that performer's contract because of either their social media activity or their political comments or affiliations and the like. And I got to tell you, my perspective is that decisions, and a lot of trade shows, a lot of events book musical acts. For example, I'm thinking about Informa's magic shows that always have performers. I think they were in Nashville recently. It had a couple of country performers down there. I think those decisions are better made by the venues themselves and the organizers who book entertainment rather than, say, bureaucrats in state capitals. I think I trust the small business owners here in our industry and the venues who put on such great events to make those decisions more than necessarily I do government employees or legislators. I think they're a little bit more qualified. So we opposed that down in Florida. It died in committee this week. But what's always interesting in the states is sometimes an idea will pop up in one state and then you'll see it pop up 5 times in other states the next year. So that's kind of why ECA is active outside of Washington, D.C. So when bad legislation dies, that always is something that I love. One thing I do want to point out that necessarily I don't love that we got some word about recently is beginning next month, the Small Business Administration is going to resume collections on EIDL loans from the pandemic era. They had put out some guidance last year that said, for EIDL loans that were in arrears, less than $100,000, they weren't going to actively collect on those. They got some heat from some federal watchdogs and some members of Congress and decided to reverse course on that. So for those with EIDL loans of $100,000 or less that go back to 2020, just a heads up that there's going to be more of an active collection regime being put into place that's going to start in early March. So keep an eye out for that. That's some news I don't love. But otherwise, lots of good news to report and good momentum heading into Legislative Action Day in the spring.
Yeah, I agree with your comment in Florida. We just had a client here at the roofing conference in Vegas here, and they actually booked Leonard Skinner. So they did a great job, and we had them at the event, and it was a great event. But I sure don't want any politician to track what Leonard Skinner or any band is doing in social media and determining what's going on. So
No, I trust the leaders in this industry more than I trust folks in state capitals in Washington, D.C. most days. So the listeners of this podcast are much better suited to make those decisions than the folks that I talk to every day.
yeah, and I think for all of us, it's in this conversation, it's great that at our generation, some of our bands are still alive and kicking. It's fun to go see some of those guys. So
Absolutely.
well, I appreciate all your work. Again, this is just phenomenal that you do. And another shout out for it. If you haven't done it before, come to DC, be a part of this group. It's a great day. You'll feel better for it, and your business will be better for it. So thank you for your support.
And thank you for the plug, Mark. Everybody look forward to seeing you in Washington, D.C. in May.
So my major takeaway there is when you come to DC on May the 30th, dress up in your football outfit. It will be full contact. And we're going to go full head. You're going to tackle your, okay, we'll get off of that. But thinking about the performing thing too, I could probably bring the karaoke set up, and at halftime we can do that with all the participants, maybe over at Bull Feathers. Just something to think about. Always plugging, people, always plugging. We're going to take a quick time out. And when we come back, we're going to have the association updates. Some great associations have called in, recorded their updates, so you get to hear that. And Mark and Tommy and I will wrap things up for this month's version of the Association and Advocacy Focus podcast right after this.
Are you searching for trade show and event products and services? Find It on Exhibitor Exchange is your complete buyer's guide to trade show exhibiting and events, featuring the trade show industry's top exhibit and display providers. Find It on Exhibitor Exchange is the industry's best shopping and commerce resource for buyers and sellers of exhibit and event products and services. Reaching 20,000 exhibit and event buyers in every print issue of Exhibitor magazine and 140,000 exhibit and event buyers online each year. Search the listings or list your company today. Learn more at exhibitoronline.com/findit.
Hello, this is Kai Happendorf with the update from UFI. Now we are really into 2024 now. We've had our new year and we've had the Lunar New Year, and it's the year of the dragon over there in Asia, the mightiest of the 12 animals they have in their calendar. And it's kind of funny that the release of our latest global barometer coincided with this Lunar New Year and with the year of the dragon, because boy, our industry is really roaring as well. Now we do this research twice a year and we measure the pulse of the industry around the world, and 2024, all signs show, will be our best year ever as an industry. The industry, all of us globally, we forecast on average to have 15% growth of revenues compared to 2023, 15% double-digit growth. Amazing. Going well beyond our best year ever previously, which was 2019, before this pandemic slump that we got through. The US will grow fastest among the three globally leading exhibition markets. These are, of course, the US, China, and Germany. And whereas China and Germany are expected to more or less hit their 2019 revenues again this year, the US will be at 110% and in record territory. A number of markets around the world will grow faster. India first and foremost, and Mexico is forecast to be slightly ahead with 114% of 2019 revenues as well. But this is really, really excellent news for the North American market. This goes ahead with a hiring spree in our industry. Around the world, 52%, more than half of our businesses say we will add new roles, we will expand our staff. So not just rehire the colleagues and positions we had to let go during the pandemic, but grow, add additional staff, add additional roles. And the US are ahead of that global average. Almost 60% of businesses in the US are expanding staff over the next 6 months. And so it's great to have this Industry Awareness Week that the colleagues from the Industry Collective are doing with ECA, IE, EDPA, ESCA, CISO, and IAVM. I hope I didn't forget anyone, and we're happy to support that from the UFI side as best as we can. Well, that's the quick update from UFI for the moment, and I look forward to being back on the show the next time.
EDPA would like to remind everybody to join them for Engage 24 happening Sunday, February the 25th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. in Nashville, just prior to the opening of Exhibitor Live. You can come aboard the General Jackson Showboat for an evening of fun, including dinner, casino games, and live music. Tickets are still available at EDPA's website. EDPA and Exhibitor Group welcome students to Exhibitor Live from FIT as well as Bemidji State. For nearly 2 decades, Exhibitor Group and EDPA's University Affiliation Program have provided an exhibit space for Bemidji State University and FIT-NY, designed students to introduce themselves and share their portfolios with prospective employers at Exhibitor Live. The students also use this time to attract design companies to sponsor them for internship opportunities to augment their curriculum. Be sure to stop by booth 773 to see these talented students on Tuesday as well as Wednesday of Exhibitor Live.
Hey everyone, Julie Kagi here with ESCA. It's great to be here with you again today. I want to start by sharing some exciting news that we have released new standard industry safety signage. This is designed to promote consistency and enhance safety practices across the exhibition industry. Boy, that was a mouthful. These are print-ready graphics that are now available for free use by anyone in the industry, and they can even be co-branded for added customization. Safety is really one of our top priorities in our industry, and these signs reflect our commitment to ensuring a safe environment for all participants and events. These were created by the ESCA Health and Safety Standards Committee, and they're a valuable resource for promoting safety awareness. And I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Exhibitions Industry Collective, comprised of 6 key industry organizations: ECA, ESCA, EDPA, IAEE, IAVM, and CISO, for their invaluable support and encouragement in promoting these safety signage tools. In addition, I'm excited to share some other updates. We have recently relaunched the ESCA Member Forum. This has been in existence, but maybe not as fully adapted as it should have been, and we're looking for re-engagement within the platform. So this provides a valuable way for our members to connect, share insights, and collaborate on industry-related topics. So if you're an ESCA member and you're not already signed up, please do so now. And I want to extend a warm welcome to 4 new ESCA members: Olympus Group, Quantum Expositions, RTM Expo and Logistics, and Genesis Exposition Services. We are so thrilled to have you on board, and for all of our existing ESCA members and just community members at large, please join me in welcoming them. Lastly, I want to remind everyone, or tell everyone really, that registration for ESCA's Summer Educational Conference is going to be open in just a couple of weeks. This year's conference promises to be an exciting opportunity to network, learn from industry experts, and explore the latest trends and innovations in our industry. As a reminder, this takes place the last week in June, and this year we are at the Omni Homestead in Hot Springs, Virginia, which is a hotel that is older than America itself. So we're so excited to bring everybody together at this amazing venue. Before I sign up, I also want to highlight Industry Awareness Week. This takes place February 20th to the 23rd and is a virtual event aimed at promoting the exhibitions industry as a career path opportunity and provide valuable insights for students, faculty, and anyone considering an event in the industry. Please be sure to get registered now and engage with this inaugural event. I think that's it for today. Thank you all for tuning in, and be sure to stay connected for more amazing updates and news. Until next time, take care and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, this is Steve Richards, board member from IFIS. In response to the rising demand for sustainability within the exhibition and events industry, IFIS, in collaboration with the Federal Association of the Event Industry in Germany, Forward, is thrilled to unveil the launch of the third ISO 20121 training convoy. This initiative, an extension of the successful convoy consulting concept introduced in 2021, aims to guide companies towards ISO 20121 certification, fostering a culture of sustainability within the industry. The newly launched ISO 20121 Training Program 3 is a collaborative effort between IFIS Forward, Good Cert from the AFNA Group, and the consultants from Be Different. The program is designed to be easily understandable, catering to professionals of various expertise levels within the exhibition events industry. Building on the success of the initial training convoys 1 and 2, which sees the first 20 association members on their way to certification, IFIS and Forward have now taken the reins, bringing this invaluable training directly under the leadership of the associations themselves, while keeping the consultants from to Be Different close at hand for further information. Led by ISO 20121 internal auditors and sustainability advocates Dominic Bola and Marco Rocha from IFIS and Forward respectively, the program provides a comprehensive understanding of the ISO 20121 process and offers close guidance across the implementation phases, making sustainability practices accessible and affordable for industry practitioners. In 2024, for the first time, this program will be conducted in English as well as German. Participation in ISO 20121 Training Convoy 3 not only provides a unique competitive advantage, but also aligns services with the growing consumer demand for environmentally responsible practices. This year-long program kicks off with 2 3-day workshops, followed by 5 additional information and exchange sessions throughout the year. Participants will earn a recognized representative for sustainable event management according to ISO 20121 certification. Towards the end of the program, an optional internal audit is available to assess company processes and capacity, preparing participants for an external third-party audit certifying the event or company ISO 20121 compliant. For those eager to embark on this transformative journey towards sustainability or to participate in the English information call on the 19th of February, please get in touch with Dominique Bola at dominique@ifisnet.org for more details. Together we can drive positive change in our industry and foster a sustainable legacy for future generations.
Jim Worm reaching out on behalf of the EACA and all our trade show industry colleagues with our industry update on the Association Focus podcast. The EACA is sponsoring and exhibiting at Exhibitor Live in Nashville at the Gaylord Opryland in 2 weeks. We will be in booth 860 and invite all members and industry colleagues to pay us a visit. EACA is currently servicing 4 shows with our EACA registration services, and they are the Plastics Industry Show in Orlando, Bio International in San Diego, eBase in Geneva, Switzerland, and the Summer Fancy Food Show in New York. EACA would also like to congratulate a couple of members on their anniversaries. Employco USA is celebrating its 45th year in business, and Lancaster Management is celebrating its 20th anniversary. Congratulations, folks. We'd also like to welcome several new members. They are ACSB, an exhibit labor company in Las Vegas, Modern Event Rental, a furniture rental company in the Chicagoland area, Teamwork Marketing Solutions, an exhibit and event management company in Hollywood, Florida, the Exhibit Guru, an exhibit labor company in Canyon Lake, Texas, and Upstaging, an AV company in Sycamore, Illinois. And finally, the EACA board will be meeting in Nashville on Monday, the 26th, to continue its efforts to support our industry's future workforce efforts, along with other initiatives for 2024. So that does it for this week's update. But meanwhile, if you have any questions or requests for support from the EACA, you're always welcome to reach out to me, Jim Worm, by email at jimworm@eaca.com. Meanwhile, be safe, be well. Look forward to seeing you all at Exhibitor Live.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Updates from some of the great associations in our industry. Mark, I don't know about you, but I always am impressed every time I hear the folks share what's going on in their group.
Yeah, no, there's some great information. There's a lot going on with these associations, And this is a great opportunity for everybody to just take a moment. You can listen to the updates. You don't have to do a lot of search. So I appreciate you guys doing the work and chasing these guys down, getting the information. And I think Kai still wins the award for always responding. Julie's right there now. So we really appreciate both of them. But we do want to make a reach out to the rest of the associations. Please do what you can to get us the information. We'd love to tell your story here.
No, absolutely love to share the news. And I just want to piggyback on something that Julie shared in hers and plug the upcoming Exhibitions Industry Awareness Week, which is taking place next week, February 20 to 24. Really some fantastic information from all of these associations about career paths and job opportunities in the business event sector. As you all know, next generation workforce is such a huge priority for ECA, and it is for the entire industry. This is something where you're going to see some great information presented. So for folks in the industry who are looking for their next gen, who know folks in the broader ecosystem who are the suppliers of that next gen workforce, career counselors, trade schools, and the like, just encourage all of you to share that information. ECA is going to be on there talking about what we're doing from a next gen advocacy perspective. I know David Dubois from the exhibitor group did a great presentation as well. Tons of fantastic information in there. And you're going to hear from some of the other associations in the Exhibitions Industry Collective. So just encourage you, be aware of that and register, share it with folks. And also, I know many of my friends and colleagues here in the Exhibitions Industry Collective will be part of Exhibitor Live coming up in Nashville. ECA is obviously looking forward to being part of that as well. So a lot of great stuff going on from the associations, and a lot of it really focused on our workforce and getting the next generation of folks involved in our great space.
Yeah, I want to thank you in advance for being a part of the executive roundtable that afternoon that we've got put together. It's sold out, so we appreciate everybody who's sponsoring it and being a part of that organization, but it's a chance for a lot of great information, and I know you'll share even more with the group then, so thank you.
Nashville's the place to be in a couple of weeks. Look forward to seeing everybody there. For all those who listen to the podcast, please come say hi to me and to all of us when you're on site in Nashville.
It's another edition of the Association Advocacy Focused podcast from the Exhibitor Group. Thanks for listening. Our next show is scheduled to be March the 21st, always the third Thursday of the month. And as Tommy said, in the association world, help us out with your updated information. And we want to be your one-stop listen to all the things going on within the associations and advocacy in our industry. Thanks and have a great rest of your February.